Going on, y'all? It's your boy Gibbons here,
And I'm Will C.
and welcome to yet another episode of the Achromous podcast, episode 61. If you are joining us on YouTube, here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that the next time you hop on YouTube and you're scrolling down that feed, you see the Achromous podcast, you see our latest episode, you can click directly on that episode. You won't miss another one. And of course, most of all,
hey guys, it's free to do all those things you just said. We go through this every single week, and our longtime viewers and listeners, they know about this. And we'd like to welcome you, if this is your first time seeing the Achromous podcast, to do the same thing. Make sure to subscribe, smash that like button, guys. Make sure you turn on that notification bell again, so you can get all the gems that we've been dropping for free to you, so you can grow, level up, if you will, in 2022. And we're going to continue to do that and say it each and every week so that we can make sure Jay is caught up to speed with it and that you are aware that all those things are free to you too as well.
I got to say, it's absolutely ridiculous that these gems are free. Doing this for 61 weeks straight, and we've been giving out some amazing content, some actionable content that you can use, you could take back, you can implement it into your life that day, and you will be better for it. And we're giving it out for free. I don't know what to say about that. And I can't believe I just said the word. Mark this day on your calendars, because I'm not going to say it again. But ladies and gentlemen, what a week it has been. Yet another great week. We had, of course, Alejandra on our podcast last week. And I got to say, we got a lot of great feedback on her being on, her story, what she had to talk about in terms of entrepreneurship and finding herself using fitness as her new domain, as that place that she goes to release any of that negative energy, and to understand what it means to be a mindset coach and to build and empower women. So I think it was a very powerful episode. If you did not get a chance to watch it, there's obviously still time. You go watch episode 60, and you'll see so many gems that she was able to drop for many of the women and men out there who have either come from a different country, who are trying to build themselves up and lift themselves up from the bootstraps and create a life in this world. So special thanks for Alejandra for joining the podcast once again, man. We'll see. I mean, you were here as well, man. What do you think about some of the gems that she was dropping?
It was a true testament to preservation and just being willing to navigate yourself as best you can, even through uncertainty in life. And I think Alejandra did a wonderful job explaining and sharing her life experiences and some of her struggles, especially amongst, the COVID pandemic that we were hit with, and just kind of like what that looked like realistically, and to be in some very, very dire circumstances. But again, to just take that opportunity to grow through it, to learn more about herself in a lot of moments that, as I could relate to, going through things and transitions at that point in my life through the COVID phase as well, that you learn what you're made of, life pushes you in certain directions and you have to stand up and stand tall and just learn and grow through what you're going through. And I think she did a phenomenal job of sharing her story. And Alejandra, again, thank you for being willing to be brave enough to come on here and to just kind of speak your truth in different ways about life and as an entrepreneur, personally as well, and just spiritually, because all those areas are very appreciated, and we do speak a lot on each area, as everyone's aware. And if you aren't, and it's your first time listening, please definitely go back and check out the episodes that we had previously, all 60 episodes leading up to this. And no one episode is the same. We talk about various different conversations, and Alejandra did a wonderful job of sharing her journey along the way, as we do often when we have guests come on. So it was a lot of gems I took away, a lot of reflecting on my own personal life and growth and development, listening to Alejandra's story and journey. And I was just grateful to be able to be in that moment, to receive what was being given out and to learn as well. So again, thank you, Alejandra. It was dope having you on. We appreciate learning and growing with you. And I feel as though that transitioned us beautifully into what we're going to get into this week, Jay.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, the one thing that I took away from everything that she mentioned, whether it was coming here from El Salvador, from a completely different country, not knowing the language here, and then building herself up, helping build her family up from where they started to where she is now, where her mother is now, where her family is now. It goes without saying that through all of that, she could not have lost hope, because I truly believe if she ended up losing hope anywhere along that way, her story would be dramatically different. Now, it's not to say that she wouldn't have ended up where she is now, but I think her being hopeful and her understanding what her purpose is, knowing that it is beyond the company that she has now, it has allowed her to have this vision. And with that vision, her hope will always stay alive because she knows where she's going, she knows where she needs to be, and she's not going to stop until she gets there. And as you said, it transfers us into this podcast episode where we're talking about how to be hopeful in difficult times. And just outside of everything that's going on in our little world, we'll see across the country there is a war going on, man, and it is doing a lot of damage, of course, financially, but of course, on the other side, it's, lives are being changed. Not only the lives that are lost in this senseless war that's going on, but for those that survive, they will be around to help rebuild everything they've lost, and that will take decades to do. Um, but seeing that and seeing everything that's happening stateside here in the US, or with our economy and with our mental states, with social media, there's so many different things that we're being inundated with every single day. And it's very, very difficult to continue to have hope during these difficult times, because typically, as I mentioned, especially with Alejandra, she's able to have that vision. So that vision, with that vision, she's able to understand exactly where she's going. Now, of course, God's path is going to take her wherever she needs to be. But when you're looking at it from the perspective of life outside of, whether it's just entrepreneurship or fitness or whatever, for some of us, we don't really know what that vision is. We have no idea where we're going. We don't know what our purpose is. So we're right now, we're just kind of spinning our wheels. We're going in circles, and we're afraid, right? A lot of people are afraid. And sometimes fear could show itself in many different forms, right? Fear could be angry, fear could be reticent, silent, fear could be, it can come in so many different forms. And I think it goes without saying that in order to continue to be hopeful, especially in these sort of times, you have to be able to look at fear and move right towards it, not knowing exactly what's going to happen beyond it. And I know, even for me, right? If I'm looking personally, sometimes that could be a little tough, especially if you don't know what the other side looks like. You don't know where the world is going to be in the next 10 years, not even discussing just you. So I think when it comes to keeping hope alive, during times like these, a lot of it has to do with, I would say gratitude is one, right? And sometimes it is very difficult to be gracious. Sometimes it is difficult when we're going through our own personal issues, when we may, I don't know, we're late for work, or we may lose a job, or we may not get a call back from a specific company that we thought we can land. When we start thinking about those things, in the grand scheme of things, it's not as big as an issue as we may initially think it is. And when I think about gratitude, sometimes even myself, I could tend to be a little bit selfish, because it's like, even though I'm going through a bad time, sometimes I want people to understand just how bad my time is, right? Because to me, it might mean so much more to me than it would to somebody else. So if I'm going through a very difficult time, and it's tough for me to understand that, okay, yeah, it could be better, but it also could be worse, right? I have life, I have a roof over my head, I'm able to pay the bills, I'm able to do all those things. And some of those things, there are people out there that cannot do. There are people out there who do not have homes, who don't have any bills to pay, who don't, don't have transportation. There are those who are sick. There are those who have so many different ailments, so many different issues. And sometimes I think we just have to sit back and understand that we, I, I don't want to use the word blessed, because if I say blessed, then that means those who aren't in our situation are cursed, right? So I would say that there there are circumstances that happened in our lives that allowed us to be where we are today, allowed us to be who we are today. There are different paths that we have taken that other people have not taken, and vice versa. So I think looking back on it all, it's best for you to be gracious and understand that your life could be drastically different if you did things differently. Knowing that frustrations will happen, especially if you're trying to build something from scratch, whether it's a company or yourself. But at the end, as long as you have that vision and as long as you understand your purpose, you will get there eventually. That destination will be clear as long as you know where you're going. So I think for starters, we'll see that that is important to understand that when you're trying to continuously be hopeful in a time that is so difficult, you must be gracious. That will allow you to understand perspective. That will allow you to understand that my fight is not over yet, and I can keep climbing. I can keep growing. There's still room. There's still time. I have life. I'm here. I'm able to sit on this podcast on episode 61 and speak to the community. I'm still able to do that. So as long as you keep those things in your mind, those things that you're always able to do, I guarantee you that it would help you. It would help you become a little bit more hopeful than you may be now.
Yeah, well said, Jay. I agree with every pointer that you emphasized on, and just to kind of keep it going in that direction, acceptance of where you are in your life exactly in that moment. Um, the ability to do that and discipline yourself and maintain the emotional maturity necessary will help guide you on the path of the light that's for you. And in that light, we mean hope. So a lot of what I've learned through experiences has been when I've decided to be negligent of whatever I'm going through and blindlessly go head first and be stubborn in my ways is when I've definitely felt the harshest forms of reality. You have to be willing to accept moments that are through hardship. You have to be willing to accept it for what they are, to be honest with yourself, to not lie to yourself, to go through those growing pains so that you can recognize, like a flip of a coin, that there's another side. A lot of the times we don't do that. We're short sighted. And I speak from experience of living a good part of my life that way, choosing to. Um, and you will always have shortcomings when you go through that because life is what it is. There's no rules to it, there's no script for it, there's no guide to how it should be done. You will face adversity in some form or fashion. There's no getting around it. I don't care who you are or where you are in your life, there will always be a form of adversity. And if you're not taking the time to learn through those experiences, then you will find yourself getting to a place where you repeat this vicious loophole in different ways, whether it be emotionally, where it leads to psychological decisions, where you, for example, you have people who tend to, find ways to alleviate those sort of things through forms of like drug abuse, alcoholism, uh, through just in toxic ways of harming oneself or someone else, because they've lost sight in the ability to know that there could be something better. And if you lose that, you've lost yourself. You've lost yourself in a way that it's not, I'm not going to say it's impossible to find yourself, but there comes a point in time when the sand runs out of the glass, and that's life. So I think it's a beautiful thing to embrace the joy and the journey along the way, Jay, as I've learned, because if you can get to a place of being willing to accept your shortcomings, you can learn from them and grow. And that is hope. And it's in the essence, that's hope that there is a better tomorrow. There's not a guarantee that we get there, but you have something to strive for. You have something set in place to keep you driven. You have a sense of purpose, right? Like we get up today, ask yourself, why do you do what you do? Because you choose it. At any point in time, you can get up and do nothing. But what have you accomplished for yourself in that day's time, right? Like for example, if you're in a position that you don't have a job, I don't want to get into different depths of what that could be or the reasons, but let's say you didn't, but you were in need of one. If you sat there and you didn't apply yourself and try, then you never have the reward of earning what's for you. And that's that opportunity, that job, filling out the application, going to the interviews, working with yourself to be prepared for what's going to come. A lot of the times it's really comes down to things just that simple, Jay, in life. And that's in every area of what you do. Howbeit, if you are in a relationship of sorts and you feel like it's not working, that takes two. It takes both parties being willing to work on themselves, because we are an individual first, to become a union through togetherness and to be able to tackle anything that we may go through. And that in itself is hope that we can make it to tomorrow, hope that we can be better than we were the day before. And it's even as we grow as people, we desire to be better than we were. So it's hope in itself. And I really stress the point of making sure that you can minimize that doubt of why not do something, minimize the inability to just kind of be okay with where you are, because it'll never be perfect. We're not perfect by design. We're supposed to grow. You grow through what you're going through. And if you're fortunate enough, you have others in a support system around you that you can learn from. So sometimes you don't even have to go through, as Jay mentioned earlier, certain paths that aren't for you. Like if you're not a certain type of way, don't try to be that. That's not you. Stay in your lane for what that's worth, so that you can have that tunnel vision to just focus on the areas you need to be better, to be more productive. And ultimately, like, others learn from that too. Sometimes, what I learned, Jay, is sometimes we don't really grasp the effect that we have on everything and everyone else around us. Sometimes we could be so damn hard on ourselves and beat ourselves to the ground and just feel defeated when others around you look up to you. They admire your strength. They grasp courage from your trials and tribulations, because they see that, like, it's possible. It's possible. Something that seemed impossible possible.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that so often we may not recognize the type of glow or influence that we may have on others?
Because sometimes we are our worst critic. We are harsh on ourselves, because sometimes we don't think that we have that factor. We don't feel like we have that impact on people's, but ultimately that's a reflection of how we feel about ourselves. And we get to a point where, it may, like, for example, we were talking a little before this about how tough of a week has been for both of us in our personal lives in different ways. And to admit and to accept defeat, of understanding that, what, today wasn't my day. That's all right. Because if I'm fortunate enough to see tomorrow, I'll make it better, because I'll have a fresh start. But guess what? Before I even get there, I got to adjust my mind right now, so that when I get there to tomorrow, I'm off to the races. I'm off gunning. I'm right back at it. I'm back on my goal, and we're gonna give it another go as long as I got air in these lungs. And I think what a lot of times happens is we trip ourselves over and over again of something that and beat ourselves over something that we get stuck on. We get stuck in yesterday rather than where we are now. So like you can say, well, you're doing a great job, you're doing the best you can do, whatever situations and whatever that is. But if I don't feel and believe it, then I'm defeating whatever you're saying to me anyway. It's not going to matter because I've already psyched myself out and I'm losing hope in me. So it starts with how we treat ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, and understanding that we're not perfect because imperfection is a beautiful thing because imperfection can lead to the best versions of you, versions that you never thought possible. I never thought that I could be as I am today. I never thought that. 5 years ago, you asked me that, I would have laughed at you. Matter of fact, I would have downplayed myself because I didn't think I mattered. I didn't think
That's
I was
a
worth it enough.
that's
So,
a 100% true.
right?
Yep, that's absolutely true, and that goes for myself too, and I'm sure that goes for many of us in our community. We tend to, for whatever reason, downplay our own talents, downplay our own abilities, and then we end up allowing ourselves to believe our own lies that we're telling ourselves. So we're in this vicious loop in our own minds, and we can't see what other people can. We can't see the hope. We can't hold on to things because we don't see it for ourselves. So I think that is perfectly said.
Yeah. But it really comes down to that form of simplicity. We get caught up in focusing on the things we can't control rather than embracing the direction of the things we have a say in our lives, right? And that's what I refer to the joy of the journey. That's hope in itself. Hope is in the ability to know that we are limited on time in life, but to not allow it to stop you from being fearless to see what's next, to see what's next, and to approach it and be optimistic. Why not? Why not, man? Like it's going to have its moments of shortcomings, but that's when you grow the most. If life was always perfect, then what's the purpose? What's the purpose? Everyone has a story, everyone has their journey. And I appreciate the connections made along the way because it also helps to put things in perspective and you learn a lot from others and they remind you of why it is that you get up and you do what you do every day. And again, simply put, that we matter. Every second that we have to spend matters. It counts towards something better. And you choose to think that way because it is a choice. That's the beauty of life. We were given that choice, Jay. So why not choose to say, today's my day? All right, maybe the first hour didn't go the way I thought it'd go. Cool, no problem. Got to hit the reset button on how I feel. I got to check my emotions to say, dang, this has been a tough day, but you know what? I'm still here now. When it's all said and done, personally, I got my babies, I got my kids. I have my loved ones. I got people who care about me. More importantly, I care about myself. So I'm not going to ever count me out, till my time is up.
Yeah.
But what you do in between now is just kind of reflect on where you've been so that you can understand where you may need to go and carry that hope in you. And to do that, you got to know that you matter. You got to know that everything you do serves a purpose. Sometimes we don't realize in the season of what we're going through what that purpose is. Jay, I'll share something with you. It's funny because I wasn't even thinking to do that.
Yeah.
Earlier, well, I've had some issues with my phone, right?
Yep.
But I was looking for the information I was telling you I was trying to find. I ended up going through one of my journals that I had 2 years ago. And oh man, stuff. I'm trying to get emotional about it. But like it was hope. It was a moment of like seeing where Will's headspace was 2 years ago when I was going through it, when I was not okay. And even in that moment, like I I had, as I was talking in it, and I'm talking to myself in the journal, and even when things wasn't great, I had hope. My heart was in the right place where I knew I hoped that better days would come. I was willing to go through whatever I need to get to them. And I say that to say I reflected in that moment. I stopped. Mind you, I was dealing with whatever I was dealing with, already frustrated about some things, honestly. But it was a reminder that humbled my perspective. Like, hey, tune into where you've been, because where you've been is not where you are now. And you got so much more to do and so many things to go and places to be in life. And if you get caught up on yesterday or whatever the trouble of whatever it is now, then you can't foresee what could possibly be for you. And it was a beautiful moment because it helped me realign certain parts about my growth. And I was like, man, I never lost that hope. I never even, and I reflected my life, no matter how bad things has gotten, or maybe no matter the uncertainty, I should say, not necessarily bad, but uncertainty of life, you don't lose sight of hope. You don't lose faith in you. Even when I felt broken, I felt lost, I still had light. And that light that I was holding on to led me to discover my purpose. And that was to what I desired in life, and that's joy. So anything that I touch, anyone that I come in contact with, I hope to radiate some of that to them, because we know what it's like to not have those sort of things. And I wanted to be different in that way. So I realized like the importance of having hope. And yeah, I realized that I mattered even then when I didn't realize certain things that I was manifesting, and what I live by now in affirmations in the beginning, literally in the beginning of writing that, had no idea that was what my headspace was projecting my future of what was waiting for me, the best version of me. And that's still yet to come, but I'm better now than I was then. So don't lose sight of what could be for you because of the short term situations that you're going through. Don't let it hold you back. Smile through it, cry through it, get the emotions of whatever that is that you need to have. Go through it. Embrace it. Embrace the moments that you feel defeated, because you will rise from all of that and you will find that it made you better. It made you better because you chose to be better. You chose it. And that's what we do, Jay. You got to choose hope. You got to choose it. So if you can manage to do that, guys, choose yourself. Choose to go through the adversities you need to go through so that you can appreciate the moments that you are triumphant in life. You never lose because you're going to always be in sync with what's for you. And those around you will be inspired, and they know what hope is because you'll be a beacon of it. That's how I see it.
That's crazy. What's funny is that you took a look in the past and you were once again reassured that your hope not only was strong then, but is valid, because you can look to see exactly where you were and remember emotionally how you were, how out of it you might have been, how distraught you might have been. And yet you still had hope that things were going to get better. Things were going to improve. Tomorrow was going to be better than yesterday because I am choosing. I am writing my own story, and I know that tomorrow is going to be better. I know that I will continue to shine my light. I will continue to grow. I will get through this. I will get through this. God has provided me with that strength. He's provided me with that courage, that knowledge to keep pushing. Even when I can't see what tomorrow might bring, even when those doubts tend to creep in my mind, I know that I'm stronger than those doubts. And I know that I can push through it. I know that I can make it because I continue to have hope even through the most difficult times of your life. And that is important for everyone in the community to understand. Life is as unpredictable as you can possibly imagine. There's no tomorrow is not guaranteed to anybody. So why not choose today? Choose tomorrow, choose the next day, choose every single day, choose one day at a time to continue to have hope, continue to believe in that hope too. Don't just say it. Don't just say it to let it come out of your mouth, but fully understand, fully ingratiate yourself with the hope that you were putting out there. That not only things will improve, but you will be better because of the experiences that you were going through. And each and every time, that's how we build. If you think about it as a kid, right? I always go back to the examples of the child because as kids, we don't know anything. we don't know anything. Imagine if we had the mindset now that we did as children, we would be afraid to walk, right? We wouldn't know any sharp objects. We wouldn't know the dangers of those things. We wouldn't know that the stove is hot and that's bad for us. We wouldn't know that there's stairs there. We shouldn't go up or down it by crawling, right? We would not understand those dangers. But if we were to approach life as a child with the wonderment, with the excitement, not necessarily knowing everything else around you based on the negative experiences that you have made, that you've had to go through in the past, but understanding that you can do anything you want, understanding that hope is as strong as you put the belief in it, and to continue to grow, to continue to build yourself up into who you are now. I think we can learn a lot from kids. We can learn a lot from them not giving up when it comes to first walking or first crawling, then walking, then running, asking questions all the time, being able to understand what it means to dream and to hold on to those dreams, even though they may seem wild to those kids at the time, or to you rather. They're not wild to them. They don't understand how difficult it may be to get to those places to accomplish those dreams, but they don't care because they have hope. So as long as you have that hope, you can accomplish the most wildest dreams that you can imagine. Never lose hope. Never lose hope. And I guarantee you that your life will be much better, even through the difficult times that we're going through.
Yeah. To lose hope is to lose yourself.
Yeah.
And you matter. So have to be mindful of that, guys. I don't think we could put it any other way.
Yep. Absolutely. We'll see. I think being able to keep hope alive, especially since we're in March, it's an early year. There are many more months left. There are many other things that could happen. But as long as we continue to have hope in ourselves, have hope in our lives, as long as we continue to manifest, as long as we continue to build upon each other and grow and stretch beyond our own limitations, I can guarantee you that we'll be better for it. We always are. Every single year we're better for it. We've improved on this podcast ourselves because we've gone through 61 of these things. We're better than our first day. We're better than our last, than our 60th. And we just keep growing each and every time. And that to be in life as well. You just keep growing, learn from the mistakes, keep building, keep hope alive.
Well said, Jay. Well said. So just reflect on that for a bit, guys.
Yep.
Reflect on it.
Continue to keep hope alive, guys. And I do want to turn it over to you guys now, because we understand, right? We're all human, right? We're all on this planet together. So even those who we may not think are going through it, they are, right? So it's very important to hold on to that gratitude that you have, to continue to be gracious, continue to understand your vision, continue to focus on what your purpose is, continue to understand your role in this life, and continue to have hope. But I want to ask you exactly, how do you keep hope alive in your own personal life? Give us your story. What have you been through? Where are you now? How much stronger are you because of it? The best response we get, we will be able to feature on the next episode of the Achromous podcast. And I can guarantee you that your story will be heard, it will be acknowledged, And I can get there are people out there that will be listening to your story who will be able to gain some inspiration from it.
Well said, Jay. I guess at this point, I would just say, hey, we got to let the folks who are listening in for the first time know how to reach us.
Look, if this is your first time, number one, I want to say thank you for coming. Right? I know we say that every single week, but we really want to thank you for coming. This episode was an emotional one. It was tough to get through because of where we are in our society now. It's stuff just seems bleak, let's be honest. So I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank you for coming on this Sunday and being able to listen to us wherever in the world you are, whatever in the world you're doing. You chose some time to carve out of your life to listen to us, and we are 100% grateful, and we thank you. Please come back. We hope you do. But now for those who have been here from the very beginning and yet still do not understand what we are, who we are, what we represent, and what we are doing, I will spell it out for you. Achromous. You can catch us on Facebook. You can catch us on TikTok. You can catch us on Spotify. You can catch us anywhere that you listen to a podcast. We are literally there. But if you are watching us, if you are seeing our beautiful faces, you're seeing this beautiful background, this amazing setup that we have, here's what I want you to do, because I'm guessing that you're on YouTube. I'm guessing you're on YouTube. And if I'm right, here's what you should also do. You should hit that like button. You should also hit that subscribe button. Do me a quick favor too. You hit that notification bell. So the next time you're on YouTube and you're scrolling down your feed, this Achromous podcast episode will be the very first thing that you see. And most of all,
it is free to do so. Listen, we tell you at the beginning of this episode, and we're gonna make sure that we're gonna wrap it up that way too, guys. Please make sure to subscribe, smash that like button if you agree with what we're talking about, you can relate to it, and you appreciate it. And make sure that you hit that notification bell so you'll be the first one to get it. And dig this, when you do receive it, pass it along. If you're really digging what we're giving out to you with all these gems, pass it along to your friend, to your neighbor, to your mother, to your brother, to your sister, to your lover, to whomever that you feel want to grow and would choose it, just like you are choosing to get through and watch with us. So we appreciate you. So make sure to do all those things, guys. Especially if you're on YouTube, we'd really greatly appreciate that. We want to make sure that we're spreading the joy of self-development growth the Achromous way, and we need your help to do so. So please be sure to do all those things. And of course, I love telling Jay that it's free to do all those things. So help me continue to keep that movement going too, guys. We really appreciate you.
Makes no sense at all. Makes no sense. And look, we hope, right? That's the word of this episode. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. We hope that you were able to learn from this episode some of the many gems that we've been able to put out there. And we hope that our vulnerability allowed you to become a little bit more stronger than you may have been before, because that's why we're here, right? We're all here to grow. But I think in order to be hopeful, you have to truly understand that hope exists. And there are times in life where we may not understand that, right? There are times in life where it's possible you could feel as though you're robbed of your true sense of self. And you don't really understand how to survive in a world that is foreign to you. I couldn't imagine coming here at a very young age and trying to swim in a pool full of sharks, not understanding where the bottom or the top is, knowing that I'm food and knowing that I could leave at any time, knowing that I could be gone at any time. So being able to be that vulnerable while also understanding that you have the strength to build not just yourself, but other people who have been emotionally damaged, other people who have felt lost in their lives. But the good part about hope is that once you're able to understand hope, you're able to grab a hold of it, you're able to have a vision, you can then put out the talents that you have, right? Once you get on that path, once your path is illuminated, you will have a better opportunity to understand exactly what your purpose is here. And next week on our episode 62 of the Achromous podcast, we will have on a man who understands what his purpose is now. Somebody who has been through that, somebody who has felt robbed of their true sense of self, but has continued to build upon himself and find his way through all of the distractions, all of the misery, all of the challenges that he has had to overcome. He's found his way, and now he wants to give back to those who have been along the same path that he has, and let them understand that there is another way as long as you have hope. Next week, next Sunday, we want you to join us in episode 61 when we bring on Herc Francois onto the Achromous podcast. So stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, please do. Really looking forward to this guest coming on and just sharing his story, his journey, the adversities he's faced, and again, maintaining that hope as we were just talking about this episode. So I feel as though we're going to have a lot to be shared with us, a lot of knowledge from this gentleman who's well versed, is a man of many languages, as we know, and just a lot of depth and knowledge to share and growth as well. So be ready, guys. We're looking forward to this one. We'll see you soon, Herc.
It's going to be an entertaining one. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I already wish it was Sunday, but let's not rush. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you once again for joining us on the Achromous podcast today. We want you to enjoy the rest of your week. It's going to be beautiful out there. Spring is springing. Y'all get out there. Y'all go running. Y'all go exercise. Live life and continue to be hopeful, because we will continue to get better each and every day. And it's because of you, because of your hope. That's what keeps things alive. So until next time, it is your boy, J.H. Gibbons.
We'll see.
Peace.